Hey everyone, welcome back to Cars and Kelley. It's been a really long time since last video, I know, sorry. I've been super busy with school and getting this car ready for the Smog test, which it actually passed last week, which is awesome. But yeah, just so much else going on right now in my life that unfortunately don't have tons of time for videos. But since I passed Smog last week, I thought I'd do a video relating to that. A bit more general, not just Miata specific. I mean, obviously, as always, especially relevant if you have a Miata too, but I just thought I'd give some tips from what I had researched and what I had experienced about passing Smog. If your car is in any way, shape, or form modified and therefore has some risk of not passing, I thought I'd just give some tips on how you can best prepare for that. So, first tip is pretty obvious, but just make sure that your check engine lights are off, but not just off, actually dealt with. Instead of just clearing them, actually solved the problems that caused them in the first place, because that'll be an instant fail if you have some sort of light on like that. I recommend getting a scanner tool like this to sort of monitor your car's status in relation to that kind of stuff. These are pretty cheap. You can get Bluetooth ones too, connect to your phone, but definitely helpful. Instead of taking it to a place to scan your car, you can do it yourself. And relating to that, make sure you drive it for about 2 weeks at least after you've cleared any codes or fixed those problems, just to make sure everything really is gone. It's possible stuff comes back, or the codes will come back after 100 miles or so when they resets the computer. So just make sure you log some miles on it after you do any repairs or anything. Just make sure it's really good to go. Specifically, highway miles are great. If you've had any sort of exhaust work or catalytic converter replacements or something, you really want to make sure you log a lot of highway miles on your car to clear out anything, to sort of burn up any old residue in there. You might consider using different octane fuel. I put premium in my car just for the past week or so before. I don't usually, but just to change stuff up, try to make it burn a little more efficiently. That's a toss-up. I know some people will say that doesn't matter. But just really log a lot of miles is the most important thing. Highway driving as often as possible for like a week before you test it. You want to deep clean your car just very thoroughly, especially the engine bay. They're going to be looking around in there. At least if they're doing their job, they should be searching around here looking for parts that are out of place or stuff that's not working. So just the cleaner it is, the better. It makes it easier for them. Should take less time, less red flags about if you're not taking good care of your car, if something's all dirty and gross. So just clean in general is obviously better. You want to make sure all your fluids are topped off and your oil is fresh enough. You can clean your air filter, air intake. Make sure all your carb stickers, if you have any, for aftermarket parts, those are facing out so they can see that and so they know that your parts are Smog legal. Make sure your tire pressures are all even and up to factory spec. Not all cars have to do a test on the dyno where the wheels are turning, but just to be safe, might as well a good opportunity to make sure your tire pressure is all good. Make sure the interior is super clean too. Some of this stuff may be trivial, but they're plugging stuff in there. There's a human element involved. You just want to make sure you give a good impression that you've been taking care of your car. They'll be less likely to assume that there's something wrong. Some of the cleaning is over the top, but you'll have a clean car afterwards, and you'll be even happier if you pass then. Next tip is just be prepared knowing what kind of tests they're going to do on your car. It varies depending on how old. For example, 2000 and newer cars don't have to do the sniffer tailpipe test. So just kind of research a little bit before in your state, in your car, what kind of stuff you're going to be held to. First of all, just try to choose ideal conditions, and for cars running, that would be colder days, so on the cooler side, a bit humid if possible. I know, obviously, location is huge for this in terms of choosing the weather, but if you have any sort of control over what day you go, cooler is better. Engines will run more efficiently, and same with a little bit of humidity. When you get to the day itself, make sure to drive your car for at least 30-45 minutes that day, right before you take the test. Just make sure your car is fully warmed up, maybe some highway driving, just make sure it's running as efficiently as possible right before the test. Next thing is just to be polite, but don't mention anything you don't have to about parts that are in the car, or recent problems that it had that you might have fixed. Better just to leave that stuff out unless they ask you about it or something. If you say that it recently had this problem and you fixed it, they might double check something to make sure it's gone, or just be more thorough than they might have otherwise been. So just no need to do that. So assuming all goes well and your car passes, congratulations. I would say consider going back to that same station in 2 years. It's another tip. Just because every place is different. There are some places that are more thorough than others. If you have a modified car and you found a place that has passed your car, go back again and say you passed me last time. The car has not changed, so you should be expected to pass again. If you don't pass, at least in California, there's a few options. You might be eligible for some government aid, some money to try to fix your car, the problems why it didn't pass, or they could buy your car from you outright if it's not worth very much. There's also just a second chance, I believe. You can just try it at another Smog station if you want to have better luck somewhere else. Maybe do some research about people having luck on forums or something with your particular car at a specific place in your location. Overall, just do your best to prepare. The more you prepare, the better you'll feel afterwards if you pass, even if some of it was unnecessary. That's what I did. And best of luck on your Smog test. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.